I'm Adam H. Brusa, and I am a minister, a prophetic trainer, and a fifth-degree black belt who has spoken heaven's wisdom over multiplied thousands of people and helped countless others to unlock clarity, to unlock courage, and to find the calling in their everyday practical lives. This week I've been talking about a teaching that I wanted to share with you that unpacks 7 practical prophetic keys to unlock your best life. They're simple, powerful, they're actionable, and they can align with the heart of heaven for your future. So if you've missed the first few days, don't worry. I'm going to do a brief recap here and put this all together so that you can have this as something that is helpful for your life. All right, so to recap, earlier this week in the content, I talked about the very first key to access is forgiving yourself. And I just want to say that forgiving yourself is such an important thing. And when we don't forgive ourselves, we imprison and hijack our potential to walk into our future. Forgiving ourselves is absolutely monumental. And then dreaming again. And I talked about how, Christ talked about that childlikeness is something that was of esteem. And what is it that children have that many times age and time and the wounds and hurts and scars of life can kind of bleach out of our life or diminish from us? I would say that it's awe, expectancy, and the dream of possibility in life. I would just say to you guys that the dream is so important to keep your dreams alive, and to dream again and allow yourself to dream again is so important. And then I talked about another key, which was drawing it. And what I meant by that was actually taking the dream that you're starting to cultivate in your heart, regardless of whether you're just starting to dream or breathe the breath of dreaming oxygen again, or if you've been architecting with the dream that you have in your steps or maybe miles in your journey of architecting that dream and it's clear, I wanted to invite you to begin to not only dream again, but to draw it again, to write it out. And the ancient prophet Habakkuk talks about the power of writing out your dream. And it's not just that. Neuroscience talks about that. Influential leaders throughout history have cited and resourced the power of writing things down. It's so important. It's a physical act, and it connects the intention of our heart with the practicality of our hand. And so, drawing it is important. And then, when we go deeper into these practices, we develop a sustainability in our life, the power of sustainability or stability in our life. And it's so important. So here's what I wanted to give you another key. This is a key, and I want to call it the key of resources. This is so pivotal, the key of resources. Now, again, all of these videos I'm doing, this is for YouTube platforms, this is considered long form, but these are short videos. I go into much more detail in other formats and forums and kind of teachings that I do. But I want to say that resources is a game changer. If you want to grow in alignment with your purpose and your destiny, resources is going to be pivotal. And can I tell you that most people ignore the steps and the tools that are necessary to fuel their success? Resources are part of that. Here's part of how I perceive resources: books, audios, seminars, classes. These are not luxuries. You watching this video now, this is actually not a luxury. This is fuel. Yeah, it's fuel to not only inspire, but to bring clarity to the lenses of your life. And I firmly believe that this is so important. If you're serious about your calling, then we need to be serious about our investment. And our investment is not just financial. Our investment is time. Our investment is the energy of our focus. The investment that we have is our commitment to ourselves and our dreams. And can I just encourage you, stay committed to your dream because it matters. It matters to heaven. It matters to this world. It matters to me. I believe in you. And so bringing that clarity is so important. So I can remember training for my various degrees of black belt. I didn't just practice my kicks. I studied my anatomy. I studied my movement, the timing of my movement, how my muscularity was working, how the structure of my frame was working. Here's what I'm saying. I have teachers and instructors in my life, and I attend seminars, and I grow, and then I teach and I grow, because that's one of the metrics for also great growth is people who share what it is that they're learning. And somewhere in the process of sharing what you're learning is also another layer of learning. Somebody said, if you want to really learn something in depth, then start teaching it. And I have found that to be true. And so that's been a growth help, or another key. That's a freebie for you as well, is sharing what it is that you're learning. Okay, so then there's another key, right? And this key is friendships. Friendships is so important because friendships are prophetic. Now, when I say prophetic, what I mean is that friendships can be things that unlock or that expand, that accelerate and give thrust to the dream that is alive in your heart, the dream that God put in your heart, the dream that lives in you and that beats in your heart like the beating of a drum. It can be something that is absolutely accelerated through friendships, if they're the right kind of friendships. I want to encourage you that having healthy friendships will multiply your courage, but toxic friendships will absolutely divide and subtract from your life. So you're going to have to ask yourself this question, and it's, who do I have around me that's calling me higher? Who do I have around me that's draining me? And who do I have around me that is reminding me of who I am becoming? This is so pivotal. These questions are so important. I encourage you guys to walk through those questions. And then here is kind of the culmination key number 7, which was this: goodness towards yourself. Now, most people don't realize this, but goodness to yourself is spiritual warfare. And when I say goodness to yourself, listen, having a massage and, being able to relax and have some of the niceties and pleasures of life, that absolutely can be a part of it. I wanted to really focus on this concept of goodness towards yourself, though. When you treat yourself, and I want to start with our mental constructs. When you start talking to yourself the way you would the future version of yourself, the person who is living in the fulfillment of dream, the person who has executed, if you could look at yourself through the tunnel of time and relate with yourself, not based upon the mistakes that you hold against yourself, but if you would to measure yourself based on the victories that you have already achieved and the places that you're going, the benevolence that you're bringing into the world, and the kindness and love that you're painting the earth with, which is what I believe is a part of what humanity is designed for, you might speak to yourself, and probably would speak to yourself differently, even in your mental talk. I want to encourage you that part of being good towards yourself is when self-criticism loses its grip on you. And this causes the prophetic or the alignment of heaven to really be able to hit your heart and have power. Somebody say power with me. So this is so important. And I just want to say, like, as a biblical anchor here, when God looked at what he created, it says on the 7th day that God said, he rested and said, it is good. He didn't rest because he was tired. He relished, he observed, he took time to actually look at the good things that he had created and ruminated in that. I want you to do that. Even if you're having to use your faith to pull the future version of yourself, I want you to ruminate on that. I want you to ruminate over the small victories that you've had in your life in years gone by. I want you to be able to actually cultivate the faith for your future based upon the little steps that you've done today. Come on, baby. You didn't give up. You're still in this fight. And because you're still here, anything is possible. You do not have a ceiling over your life. You have a potential and a possibility over your life. And so let's tie it all together. Forgive yourself. That's freedom. Dream again. That's vision. Draw it, or in other words, write it out. That's clarity. Call out the warrior in yourself. That's courage. Gather the resources that will support you. That is wisdom. Build the friendships and the alignments. It's pivotal. Your next great level and layer is probably only one connection and one activation away for you. In other words, surrounding yourself with people who cause the prophetic potential, the God-sent, destined version of your life and your future into you, not just theologically, but expressed practically in your life, is absolutely pivotal. And then lastly was practicing goodness. That's restoration. Practice goodness. These 7 keys, they're not just theory. These are practices. These are things that I would practice in the dojo. These are things that we practice as we cultivate our spirituality. And then your life becomes the living prophetic message, a living testimony of heaven's love and purpose. And so if this teaching is stirring something in you, then subscribe and join me each week. I will release new prophetic insights and alignments, these practical formation tools to help you carry love in real life. And comment below, which was your favorite? Which key spoke to you the most? What right now is highlighted to you? I'd love to hear your comments and connect with you about it. And if you want to go deeper, the full Love and Brokenness course will be launching soon. That's my book, Love and Brokenness, available on Amazon. You can get this, and I am going to be launching a course that will help you. And what will it help you do? It's simply designed to help you process your pain, to rediscover your purpose, and to build a life that carries heaven's goodness on you everywhere that you go. Remember, your best life is not waiting to occur. It's something that you carry within inside of you. And so the prophetic is unlocked. Your potential is absolutely within you. And heaven is not just a destination. It's actually an atmosphere that lives inside. So thank you for watching today. Again, I am Adam H. Brusa, and prophetic trainer, 5th degree black belt, and your formation partner. Keep growing, keep loving, keep becoming, and I'm celebrating you as we cross the finish line. God bless.